it come to be? Talk to me. How did it, turn into a series?
So Hulu had the book, and they reached out to my team. I think it was Sasha Silver at Hulu, actually, because we had met before and she'd read some of my stuff. They knew they wanted to make it a show, but they didn't know exactly what that looked like as a TV show, because the book, it's amazing, but it needs some changes to work on screen. So they essentially just said, what's your version of the show? Pitch that to us. So I read the book and I really connected to it on a personal level. I think all of us have been in that kind of, or most of us have been in relationships like that, or at least toxic relationships to some degree. So I went and I, just really plotted out what would this be as a TV show, and what would the structure be, because there are many timelines in the book and I knew that wouldn't work in the show. So I had to kind of streamline it into 2 timelines, and then, figuring out what characters we make bigger, which characters we don't need, and finding a way to make it a 2-hander. It is Lucy's show, but Stephen is such a huge character and we need to root for him a bit more than we root for him in the book, to make this an ongoing series. So yeah. And
right.
then
because if people, if it did read exactly like the book or show as the book, I mean, I think at some point people would stop watching because he's so horrific. They would hate him and it would annoy them to watch. So it's interesting that you chose to find that human side of him.
Yeah. And I think it's more interesting to have someone who, as opposed to just lacking all empathy, has the ability to feel empathy, but has just repressed that so completely because of how they were raised, which is what we tried to lean a little bit more towards. He wasn't born that way. He became this way.
Wow. Yeah. And a lot of times I even, talking to friends who are in relationships, and I'm lucky enough because I'm with a psychiatrist. That's my boyfriend. So it's very good. But people don't realize that narcissists and psychopaths are still capable of feeling empathy. And, and I think sometimes people get stuck in relationships because they see the vulnerable side of their partner and realize, oh no, they showed empathy here or there, but it's still a toxic relationship and it's still not meant to be, even though they do have those characteristics.
1,000,000%. And I think we don't realize how many, especially narcissists, there are around us. And they're very good at being who we need to be when we need them to be that. And then, turning on a dime.
Right. So what is it that you hope that people do get when they do watch the series from it, when they watch?
I mean, first and foremost, I hope that they are moved and entertained, but I think this kind of relationship is something that is so isolating. You end up hiding so many things because you're being forced to by your abusive partner, or because you're embarrassed about the things that you're allowing to happen to yourself. And I think emotional and mental abuse are so, they're all over the place. They're alive and well. But we don't talk about that as much as the more obvious signs of abuse, like, physical abuse that you can see from the outside. So I'm hoping that people just have less judgmental conversations about this. And I'm very tired of the trope of the desperate girlfriend or the needy, pathetic girlfriend. Like, we make so much fun of that character. And I think it's really lame. I think it's really wrong, because usually those people are just seeking something and trying to fill a hole, or they're being completely manipulated and they don't realize that they're in the kind of relationship they're in. So
amazing. Well, congrats again. And thank you so much for bringing this amazing book to screens. I think people are going to adore it and love it. And thank you again.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Welcome to FabTV. Look at Hollywood's latest, see? All the red carpets dressed to a T. Yeah, you know me. It's all free.